I want you to stop wasting your money on these 7 things in 2023 if you want to achieve financial freedom someday. As an older person that has seen many changes throughout our lifetime, I'm telling you these 7 things will keep you broke and make someone else wealthy instead of you. First and foremost, unused subscriptions. I know it's tempting to subscribe to all the latest stream services, gyms, magazines, but let's be honest, how many of them do you really use regularly? If the answer is not many, it's time to cancel those subscriptions as soon as possible. They may seem small, but those monthly fees can add up to significant savings over time. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. I mean, maybe you could invest in a business venture or take that dream vacation you always wanted. Don't fall into the trap of paying for something you're not using. Take control of your finances and direct those dollars towards something that will bring you real value. Remember, every penny counts when it comes to building wealth. Take a good hard look at your subscriptions and cut back on anything that's not bringing you joy or financial gain right now. My second one is, let's talk about daily coffee. I'm a coffee addict, and indulging in a cup of coffee every day might appear like a trivial expense, and you might ask why. Well, it can pile up quickly over time. I mean, my wife loves Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees, and they're $6 a pop, and that would add up if you buy one every single day. And instead of splurging your money on fancy coffee shops, why not invest in a good coffee maker and prepare your iced coffee at home? Because that's what we started doing. And by doing so, you can save a significant amount of money in the long run. I mean, think about it this way. Spending $6 a cup of coffee every day, it'll add up to over $2,000 a year. And on the other hand, if you go buy a good coffee maker from Best Buy, it'll only cost you around $50, which is a one-time investment. And by brewing your own coffee at home, you'll not only save money, but you'll also have the convenience of having a freshly brewed cup of coffee whenever you want. So skip the coffee shops and put all that money towards something that'll pay you off in the long run. Invest in a coffee maker and save yourself some cash, believe me. Number 3 is impulse buys. I'm sure it's something that many of us have fallen prey to at some point in our lives, and for me, it used to be a problem. Whenever I'd walk into a store or browse online, I'd get this sudden urge to buy things that I didn't need or even really want, and my wife is known for that. It could be a new watch that caught her eye, a gadget that she needed, maybe a top, or some other impulse buy that she convinced herself it was a good idea. I started to look, and she started to look closely at her spending habits. We realized that these impulse purchases were costing us a lot of money, and it ended up with a closet full of stuff that we didn't wear or we didn't use, and we really didn't need. And all that money we could have spent to more and better investments and would have been put to better use. And this is why I started to take a more mindful approach to shopping. And instead of rushing into a purchase, we started to ask ourselves whether we really needed that item in question. I'd take some time to think about it, maybe even sleep on it before making a decision. And more often than not, I'd realize that I didn't really need or want the item after all. And of course, there are times when impulse buying can be harder to resist. I remember one time when I was shopping for a new laptop. I had a budget in mind, but when I saw a shiny new model with all the bells and whistles, I found myself seriously tempted. And it was only like I took a step back and I thought about it that I realized I didn't need all those bells and whistles, and I ended up sticking with the one that I really needed, which was within my budget, and it was perfectly good and it met my needs, and I still have that laptop till today. So avoid making these impulse buys, especially when it comes to pricey items such as electronics, watches, phones. Take a moment to contemplate the purchase and determine if it's genuinely necessary. Impulse buys can add up quickly, and you may end up spending a significant amount of money on items you really don't need. And remember, every dollar counts, and being more thoughtful about your spending habits can pay off in the future. Number 4, let's talk about brand name products. It's no secret that they often come with a higher price tag than their generic or store brand counterparts. But it's that extra cost really worth it? I mean, consider this. Many generic in-store brand products are just as good, if not better. I kind of like Kirkland brand, and I know what you're saying. Kirkland. Kirkland's actually phenomenal, and they try to make their products one step higher than their regular products. And the best part, they often are available at a much lower price point. So why pay more for the same quality? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not saying that all brand name products are a waste of money. There are certainly some items where the brands do matter, like high-end electronics or certain types of clothing. But for everyday household items like food, cleaning supplies, toiletries, there's really no need to pay extra for fancy label. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Kirkland. The bottom line is don't fall for the marketing hype. Instead, be a savvy shopper and opt for generic or store brand products whenever possible. Not only will you save money, but you might even find that you prefer the taste or quality of these items over the more expensive counterparts. This actually came true to my Kirkland fascination that they had a special coffee under the Kirkland brand, and their coffee was actually better tasting than the Starbucks brand, believe it or not. So why not give it a try? Your wallet will thank you in the future. Number 5 is going out to eat. God, I love to go out to eat, but eating out can be so tempting and so expensive, and especially when we have busy lives and limited time to cook meals. However, convenience comes at a cost, and eating out regularly can add up to a significant expense over time. A meal at a restaurant can easily cost you $10 to $20 per person, and if you're eating out 3 to 4 times a week, that's a considerable amount of money spent on food. On the other hand, cooking meals at home can save you a lot of money. By planning your meals, making a grocery list, and buying ingredients in bulk, you can reduce your food expenses substantially. You can also control the quality and quantity of ingredients, which can help you eat healthier and manage your portion size better. My wife and I cook all of our meals. We have a trainer, and we plan every single one and what we eat every single day in the future. And when we want to go out to eat as a cheap meal, we do it like once every couple of weeks or once a month as a treat. Moreover, cooking at home can be a fun and creative activity that can involve your family or friends and help you build stronger relationships. My kids love to cook with us. Besides saving money, cooking meals at home can also be a healthier option. And when you eat out, you don't know what ingredients are used or how much oil, salt, sugar are added to your foods. Most restaurants aim to make their food tasty and satisfying, which often involve adding tons of butter, unhealthy additives, and excessive calories. And when you cook at home, you can use fresh whole ingredients and control the amount of seasoning and spices you add, making your meals healthier and more nutritious. By making small changes to your daily habits, such as cooking and at home instead of eating out, you can have a significant impact on your financial well-being over time. Number 6 is ATM fees. Listen guys, I mean, they might not seem like a big deal, but they can add up fast. And if you're not careful, especially if you're using ATMs that are not part of your bank. So here's what you really should do. Always use online banking, it's free. Maybe try to use your bank's ATM. If that's not an option, look for a grocery store or someplace else that won't charge you extra fees. I know Wawa here in New Jersey doesn't charge you any fees at their ATM. And trust me, it's worth taking that extra time to find a free ATM. Otherwise, you're just throwing money out the window, and that's not really how we do things in this world. We work hard for our money, and we don't want to waste any unnecessary fees on anything. Remember, be smart with your money and avoid those ATM fees whenever possible. And lucky number 7 is late fees on bills and credit cards. That can be a costly mistake. These little charges can add up quickly, and before you know it, that 20% that you're paying or shelling out extra cash that you could have spent on something much more important. Late fees can happen to anyone, even the most organized person. One day you might forget to pay a bill, and then suddenly you're stuck with the fee that could have been avoided. But don't worry, because there's some simple steps you can take to ensure that you never have to pay late fees again. 1, make sure you keep track of all your bills and their due dates. Try to get on automatic payments. It's easy to track the bills when you have so many coming in every month. Keep a calendar or reminding system so that you always know when your bills are due. If you have a smartphone, set up reminders to alert you a few days before the due date. Another great way to avoid late fees is to set up automatic payments, like I said before. Many banks and credit card companies offer this service, which means that the payment is automatically deducted from your account on the due date. This is a great option if you have bills that are the same amount every month, such as your car payment or mortgage. And remember, late fees aren't just a nuisance, they can also damage your credit score. And once your credit score goes down, it can be very difficult to get it back up. Late payments can stay on your credit report up to 7 years, so it's important to pay your bills on time every time. And make sure you tell your wife that. Now listen, don't forget, please share with me your thoughts on these 7 topics in the comment box if you have any, and how much do you currently spend on these 7 items. And if you're checking out my channel, please give me a thumbs up and think about subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.